MI5 to take over in fight against rise of UK right-wing extremism. UK News. Security service to handle intelligence gathering, then inform police to take action. Security service to handle intelligence gathering, then inform police to take action. MI5 is to take the lead in combating extreme right-wing terrorism amid mounting fears that white supremacists are increasing their efforts to foment violent racial conflict on Britain's streets, The Guardian has learned. The switch from the police, which has always previously taken responsibility for monitoring far-right extremism, to MI5 means that the ideology will now sit in the same portfolio as Islamist terrorism and Irish terrorism, which are both covered by the Domestic Security Service. The decision also means that extreme right-wing activity will now be officially designated as posing a major threat to national security. It comes amid growing global fears of the threat posed by far-right terrorists. In the US, 4 extreme right-wing alleged plots have been thwarted in the UK since March 2017, compared to 13 Islamist plots. But with around 1, the move has taken months of negotiations between MI5, the police, and senior government officials. The outcome is that MI5 will take the intelligence lead when extreme right-wing activity is suspected of amounting to terrorism, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the discussions. The sources say that it is hoped that MI5's approach, techniques, and greater powers will allow it to discover more about the violent intentions of the extreme right than the police can. The changes will see MI5 formally take responsibility for identifying suspects and assessing what danger they pose, conducting network analysis and ranking threats. Police have the executive lead, taking over when the time comes to disrupt a plot and make arrests. One senior police source told The Guardian that the move made sense. Sources in both, one source said MI5 are driving the car, and SO15 Counter-Terrorism Command are in the passenger seat. When there is a need to take a plot out, SO15 get in the driving seat. One difficulty about the move is that extreme right-wing activity covers both terrorism, which is well within MI5's legal remit to protect national security, and public order, which is not. The far-right terror threat came to government and mainstream attention after the assassination of the Labour MP Joe Cox in June 2016. Since then, a Muslim worshipper has been run down with a van near a London mosque, a plot to kill an MP with a machete has been thwarted, and security officials are concerned about attempts to radicalize members of the military and even those with expertise with computers. In the wake of Cox's assassination, national action was proscribed in December 2016, the first extreme right-wing group since 1940 to be banned. The far-right's danger is not seen as being as severe as the threat posed by Islamist extremists, which is assessed as being by far the dominant threat and unabating despite Islamic State's loss of territory in Syria and Iraq. The decision to pass the lead to MI5 means the agency will have to find the agents, analysts, and other staff needed. It is already growing. It has around 18% of its staff focused on the threat of Irish terrorism. Also growing is that earlier this year, a review was launched into the extreme right by the Joint Terrorism Analysis Center (JTAC). Sources say it is the first assessment of the entire landscape of the threat the extreme right poses to national security by the JTAC, an elite Whitehall counter-terrorism unit. The JTAC may in future produce a threat level for extreme right-wing terrorism, in the same way that they do for Irish and Islamist terrorism. Senior counter-terrorism sources estimate there are 100 violent neo-Nazis and far-right extremists committed to a racial and religious war in Britain. Most European countries have the same organization counter the threat from the extreme wing as for Islamist terrorism. MI5 is in a On Wednesday, Britain's top counter-terrorism police officer, Neil Basu, told MPs on the Home Affairs Committee that the extreme right wing is growing across Europe, and said there is no doubt that crosses the border into the UK, and there have been attempts by groups here to coordinate with European partners as well. A review by the barrister David Anderson QC, conducted for the government after the terrorist attacks in 2017, was the trigger for the change. Basu also told MPs that Islamist and extreme right-wing terrorism were inciting each other. There is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that the two ideologies, both perverse, are both feeding each other. He also said belief situation is worse and growing, and that a big rise in hate crime is a proxy indication of that.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park,